We know that we don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. Kind of a scary statistic is that only 10% of Kansas adults eat enough fruit and 8% eat enough vegetables. So I'm always looking for tips of how we can eat more fruits and vegetables, and that really comes down to it needing to be easy, convenient, and really fast. And we need to make it a habit.
An abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables makes summer the perfect time to add more of something we typically don't get enough of in our daily diet. We can also fight the summer heat by using alternative ways to prepare meals that help keep the heat out of the kitchen. And we can combat the boredom that's starting to set in for kids by getting them involved in preparing meals. On today's Sound Living, opportunities for healthy eating. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman. K-State Research and Extension Northwest Regional Family and Consumer Sciences Specialist Ashley Svaty says that summer presents an opportunity for families to change their normal eating patterns. Ashley, an opportunity today to really focus in on summer meal preparation, and one of the main things we want to talk about is the fact that we always want to try and incorporate the My Plate into the discussion.
Exactly. I'm here to share tips of how us as adults that we can be role models for our kids to get at least half of our plate fruits and vegetables, just like My Plate teaches us.
And this is a great time because there are so many varieties of colors and fresh fruits and vegetables available.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Summer is the perfect time to kind of get out of the box and think of new fruits and vegetables that we can incorporate into our meals. Hopefully you have local producers and a local farmer's market that you can go to, or if you don't, produce is on sale right now because it's in season. So if you go to the grocery store, that in-season produce is going to be cheaper and a great way for you to utilize it. And always you can look for frozen fruit and throw them into smoothies as well.
The farmer's market is a great idea because if you have questions or if there's something you're not sure about, you can just talk directly to them and maybe find out, how do you prepare this? How do you use this?
Yes, exactly. Last summer, I wanted to choose a watermelon, and I just asked the producer, okay, which watermelon is going to be best? And they, of course, helped me out there, and it was a delicious watermelon. But if you go to a farmer's market and you don't know what that item is, they are going to be more than happy to help you because they want you to enjoy that produce so that you keep coming back. And it's a win-win for everybody when you enjoy that produce from the local producers.
A lot of the times we're just eating this as it is. We may cook the vegetables somewhat, but the fresh fruit especially is something that can be grabbed as part of the meal or just as a snack.
Yes, we know that we don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. Kind of a scary statistic is that only 10% of Kansas adults eat enough fruit and 8% eat enough vegetables. So I'm always looking for tips of how we can eat more fruits and vegetables, and that really comes down to it needing to be easy, convenient, and really fast. And we need to make it a habit. So one habit that I like to share is just to keep a bowl of fresh fruit out so that you can see it. So when you walk into the kitchen, if you're hungry for a snack, if you have a bowl of apples, oranges, and bananas out, you're probably going to grab that instead of looking into the cabinet for something maybe a little less nutritious. So really adding a fruit or vegetable into every meal or snack that we can will really help us reach that goal of recommended fruits and vegetables for our overall healthy living.
That's a great idea because if you do that every day, they are going to make that a habit. And when we get to the fall and winter, when maybe the produce is not quite as available, they're still going to want it.
Yes, exactly. And you know, those fruits that I mentioned, apples, oranges, bananas, those are usually available year-round, and they can just sit on the counter. They're pretty easy to handle. Just give them a quick rinse before we eat them and cut into them, and you're good to go.
When we're looking at the rest of the My Plate, in terms of maybe the protein or what we would consider the entree, there are some things that we can do during the summer that may be a little bit lighter than what we would do at kind of that season where we like the more hearty meals.
Yes, and I don't know about you guys, but one of the last things that I want to do in the summer is to make my house even hotter. So I don't really want to turn on that oven. So we do a lot of grilling, and we like to fill that grill up and do batch cooking. We want to cook enough protein to maybe last 3 to 4 days. That's how long food is safe in the refrigerator. So that protein is easy to go with our meals in the next couple days. So, for example, if we just want to grill chicken, we can have that for this evening, and then we would have it ready to go for the next meal, maybe fajitas. And then we could have onions and peppers prepped and chopped and rinsed off, ready to go for our next meal. So really capitalizing on that batch cooking. And if we do want to utilize our oven, which is just fine, I recommend that you cook multiple meals in the oven at one time and cook it in the mornings when it's cooler out so it doesn't heat your house up as much.
Yeah, you touched on some really good things there. The fact that you can do a lot of this cooking and then using it throughout the week. And there's a lot of ways to do that. And sometimes it's just even a sandwich or a wrap.
Yes, exactly. I think every family kind of has their go-to. For me in the summer, it's a salad. I'm going to have my lettuce ready to go. I have cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, any kind of fruit and veggie that you want, you could throw into a salad or on a sandwich. You can layer up. You probably have maybe some tuna or lunch meat in your refrigerator or in your pantry. You can toss that onto a wrap or a sandwich with romaine lettuce, spinach leaves, tomatoes, cucumbers, pickles. Just add variety however you can.
I mentioned before that sometimes we try to avoid maybe the heavier meals, but there are some things that we can do in a slow cooker that kind of simulate what we might have in, say, November or December.
Yes, definitely. I love slow cooker season, usually in the winter when you come home from a cold day and you've got soup ready to go or something warm ready to go. But we can also utilize our slow cookers in the summer because it does not heat up our house as much as an oven would, and it uses less energy than our oven would. And we know that when we cook proteins in the slow cooker, it can make them fork tender, and those more budget-friendly cuts of meat, it can really do wonders on those too. And we don't just have to cook only our proteins in there. We can throw a whole meal in, and we can add lots of vegetables and just make sure that we throw in the vegetables at the bottom underneath our proteins first because they cook slower than our proteins, and we really do want to add those vegetables in because we don't eat enough vegetables. So anytime we can throw those in, the better.
Is this also an opportunity then to maybe switch the protein up a little bit and maybe go with some sort of beans or legumes?
Yeah, we can definitely add beans and legumes over the summer, and those are just really handy to have on hand in your pantry. They're very fast to cook, especially if you have canned beans. I enjoy canned beans. They are a lot easier to prepare for me, and they can help in a pinch. And one recipe that I've used a lot is from the Med Instead of Meds program, and it's a black bean burrito. Just have a whole wheat tortilla, mix salad greens, black beans, cheese, tomatoes, throw in an avocado if you want, and onions. And you can put that together so quick. The only heating up you have to do is if you want to warm up your beans. But you can throw all that in a bowl, throw it in a tortilla, and you're good to go. Very quick, does not heat up your house, and it's a very nutritious meal.
Well, and another way to do some of that reheating and some of that cooking is with the microwave, too.
Yeah, of course. Utilize your microwave if you have one. Reheat your leftovers that I was talking about. If you do your batch cooking in your oven or on your grill, go ahead and reheat those leftovers. Make sure all your leftovers reach 165 degrees, but utilize that microwave whenever you can. Of course, that's not going to heat up your house like your oven would, so utilize that. Utilize any appliance you can when you don't want to heat up your house in the summer. And anything that's going to help get a meal on the table quick for you and your family to enjoy more family time, I'm all for it.
You mentioned the refrigeration, maybe only 3 or 4 days at most. There's also an opportunity to maybe do some freezing at this time of the year?
Yes. If you aren't going to eat that food within 3 to 4 days in the refrigerator, go ahead and freeze that food and then You could just reheat it up in the refrigerator as well. And if you have excess produce in your garden, if you've got a green thumb, you can freeze that produce as well, too. And our Rapid Response Center has great resources on how to safely freeze all of your garden produce.
You mentioned that you do a lot of the protein on the grill. Do you also make entire meals on the grill sometime? Do you do the vegetables as well?
Yes. Yeah, you can. You can grill your vegetables a couple different ways. You can wrap your veggies in foil. You know, once our gardens really take off, your squash and zucchini, you're just going to have that coming out your ears. So one of my favorite recipes is just to throw the chopped squash and onions with just a little herbs and spices, whatever your favorite is, with some olive oil. Throw that in some oil on the grill. Let that cook. You can do that with really any vegetable you want. Potatoes, asparagus. You can place them on skewers and let them cook. Kids especially love anything on skewers or on a stick, so that would be fun for kids to try too. Or just place those vegetables in a grill basket and cook them that way too.
I know it's not on my plate, but in terms of maybe a dessert, there are some ways that we can have a sweet treat without it really being overly sweet, right?
Yes, exactly. One recipe that I absolutely love, this is also from the Med Instead of Meds program, is the banana granita with blueberries. You know, as I mentioned before, blueberries, you can really have this recipe year-round, and it tastes so much like ice cream. You just put frozen bananas in the freezer, chop them up so that they're ready to go. You put those in the freezer. You can blend them up with a little milk, honey, and it's exactly like ice cream. It's such a cool treat, and you top it with frozen blueberries. Another thing that you can do with fruit is to put grapes in the freezer. You rinse off the grapes ahead of time, and you put them in the freezer, and they're such a cool treat and a fun way to eat grapes. Just make sure that, you know, your kiddo is old enough that it's not a choking hazard with those grapes. But those are a couple fun recipes to try this summer to kind of tame your sweet tooth and cool down at the same time.
Well, it's a great opportunity if you have the opportunity to spend more time with your children during the summer to do some of these activities together and make it kind of a learning, fun process, because at some point they do eventually get a little bit bored with just being at home, right?
Yes, exactly. If you've got a kid bored at home, you know, they went to the pool too much, they're kind of just needing to do something else, try some fun things with your next meal or snack with your kiddo. You know, we all need to eat more fruits and vegetables, but kids do too. And kids are going to eat more fruits and vegetables when they see you do it. So be a role model to them. If they see you eating and enjoying fruits and vegetables, they're more likely to do that too. And if you add a dip, like a hummus or a yogurt dip for fruit or vegetables, they're more likely to eat the produce too. And I mentioned this when we're talking about skewers on the grill. You know, I don't know if this is a fact, but kids love anything on a stick. So on a pretzel or on a skewer, you can add fun shapes of strawberries, grapes, blueberries, kiwi, watermelon, cantaloupe, even grape tomatoes. You can throw those on a skewer, and your kids are going to have fun eating that compared to if they were just kind of on a plate. Things are just much funner on a skewer or on a stick. And just have fun with your kids. Show them that eating produce is fun and delicious and, of course, good for us. And start them out with foods that they enjoy, and then just keep trying the new fruits and vegetables. If they don't like it on the first try, just keep trying it. You know, we might not like a fruit or vegetable on the first try, but it can eventually grow on us.
That's K-State Research and Extension Northwest Regional Family and Consumer Sciences Specialist Ashley Svaty. For more information on healthy eating, contact your local county or district extension office. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman, and this is the K-State Radio Network.